Hi, today I want to share with you a story. This is my story, and this story is actually almost 22 years old. But as I go around coaching students, as I work with chartered accountants, coaching them, mentoring them, helping them build better careers, I realize that this story keeps on repeating itself. I used to think it's just my story, but it's actually the story of many chartered accountants. And perhaps if you're watching this video, maybe this story would sound similar to you as well. So this story is from 1998. I had just qualified as a chartered accountant. Uh, I was very excited about building a new career. I was looking forward to the opportunities that I would now get as a chartered accountant, all the money that I would make. Uh, and the first thing I was trying to do was to look for a job, like all of us do. And as I started looking around, I realized that there was this tremendous craze and attraction for going and working with big four firms. All of my friends who had qualified with me, they wanted to go and work with big four firms as well. And I realized maybe that's the right thing to do. If everybody wants to go and work for a big four firm, I should also look for a job in a big four firm. If I go and work for uh, one of these large consulting audit firms, then my career uh, would rock from that point onwards. So, this is what I did. I started applying for Big Four jobs. The job market was better then than what it is right now. Fortunately, I got into a Big Four firm. I got a job in the audit division of a Big Four firm. I started working there. And because I did my articleship from a small firm, I very quickly realized that the environment and the culture and the way things happen in Big Fours are very, very different from the way that I had learned to do things. Even something as basic as a statutory audit, the way the statutory audit was being done in the Big Four was very different from the way I had done it in the small firm where I came from. And this put me in a lot of difficult situation. I started to struggle. The people I was working with in this big four firm were very smart. They knew about all of this, whereas I did not. And I started falling behind. I started losing confidence, and I started to suffer. My bosses, my leaders were not happy with me. I was not able to do a great job with the assignments that I was doing, and I was really hating the work. Every day going to office, I was beginning to hate it. And eventually, I got so tired and so angry and frustrated that I started looking out for other jobs. And it took me 2.5 years to get out of that situation and to get into a different job. And eventually, when I got to some of the other organizations that I've worked with, I found much more conducive environment to my kind of working, to my style of working, to my personality, to the skills or the nature that I had. And I became far more successful from that point onwards. But this story is not about my success eventually. This story is about me making the wrong decision very early in my career. And I see people making these wrong decisions all the time. I see and I notice people following the herd. Just because everybody's going for a big four job, I should also go for a big four job. Because everybody's interested in becoming an investment banker, I should also become an investment banker. Uh, just because indirect tax is an upcoming field, I should just jump into indirect tax. Before we make those decisions, we need to take care of three or four things. Thing number one, what is your skill set? What is the personality that you have? What kind of work, organization, profile, and brand is best suited for you? If you make this wrong decision, if you get stuck in the wrong kind of job or the wrong kind of organization, you will really struggle to get out of there. So don't make that mistake. Mistake number two, spend time becoming more aware of yourself. As soon as you qualify, you try to jump into a job. Even before you qualify, as you're planning for your examinations, start planning for your long-term career to find out what kind of organizations are best for you, etc., and then start networking and building those relationships so that once you qualify, you can have access to more people. Problem number three that people make is following the herd. We already spoke about it. That's the mistake that I made. I was just following the herd and I wanted to work for a big four. And then problem number four that people make is putting money before self or learning. In the early stages of your career as chartered accountants, what's more important is how much are you learning and what is your growth path. You will all end up making a lot of money. That's my assurance to you. All of us make a lot of money eventually. But what's more important right now, in the early stages of your career, is to find out what's right for you and make sure you get that and not just jump after or run after a little bit extra money, because that might lead you to the wrong kind of jobs, the wrong kind of profiles. So this is a story. I don't know how many of you relate with this story. If you've made wrong choices in your career like I did 20 years ago, then please understand, I totally relate to you as well. It is possible to shift out of that particular problem. I eventually shifted out of it. If you made those wrong choices, you need to know how to get out of those wrong decisions or wrong places that are not the right kind of jobs for you. It takes time, but you can do it. But for those of you who are watching this video and haven't yet started your career, this is the time for you to not make the mistakes that I did and make sure you make the right career choices.